If you've been scrolling through endless lists of digital pianos, watching video after video, and still feel that knot in your stomach wondering whether the one you pick will actually sit right under your fingers and sound right in your living room, this review is here to clear that up. I've spent a few weeks setting up the Kurzweil KaP1, trying out its weighted hammer action, plugging it into my phone for Bluetooth playback, and even testing the USB MIDI connection with my DAW, because I know how easy it is to buy a piano that looks great on paper but ends up gathering dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first question most people ask themselves is, do I need a full-size 88-key instrument, or could a 61-key controller do the job? For anyone who's serious about classical repertoire, jazz improvisation, or even pop production that leans on real piano feel, the answer is usually a resounding yes. The KaP1's fully weighted hammer action mimics the resistance you get on an acoustic piano, which means you can practice proper technique without jumping back and forth between a cheap keyboard and a studio grand. If you're just dabbling, or you only need a portable synth for gigs, the extra weight and price might feel like overkill. What really set this model apart for me was the real-world setup time. The package includes the chrome STC1 stand, a sustain pedal, and a power supply, so you don't have to hunt down accessories separately. Unboxing felt more like pulling together a small studio. The stand snaps together with a couple of thumbscrews, the pedal clicks into place, and the piano itself slides onto the stand with a reassuring weight. The only hiccup was the power brick. It's a bit bulky and the cord can get tangled if you're moving the unit around a lot, but once it's plugged in the unit stays put and you're ready to play in under 5 minutes. Now, let's talk about the voices. Kurzweil markets the KaP1 as having 28 flagship instruments and 256 voice polyphony. In everyday use that translates to a decent variety of sounds you can pull on the fly. I used the grand piano for a Chopin etude, switched to the electric piano for a smooth R&B track, and then tossed in the organ sound for a gospel jam, all without any noticeable latency. The real benefit shows up when you layer sounds. Because the polyphony is 256 notes, you can sustain a rich pad while playing a full chord progression and still have room for a solo line. If you're a producer who likes to blend piano with strings or synth leads in the same take, that capacity will save you from those annoying cutoffs you sometimes hear on cheaper keyboards. Bluetooth audio and MIDI are two features that sound impressive but often end up being gimmicks. With the KaP1, Bluetooth audio lets you stream your favorite backing tracks directly from a phone or tablet, which is handy if you're practicing alone and don't want to run a cable to a speaker. I paired it with Spotify on my phone and the sound came through the built-in speakers with no noticeable lag, so I could jam along in real time. The Bluetooth MIDI, however, is a little more finicky. I paired it with my iPad and a piano app, and while it generally stayed connected, the connection would occasionally drop when I moved the stand. If you need a rock-solid MIDI link for live performance, a wired USB connection is still the safest bet, but the wireless option is a nice convenience for casual practice. Who should buy this piano? If you're a student who has outgrown the 61-key, touch-sensitive keyboards you get in most music schools, the KaP1 offers a professional-grade feel without the need for a full acoustic bench. It's also a solid choice for gigging musicians who need a portable instrument that can hold its own on stage. The stand folds down, the weight is manageable for a single person, and the built-in speakers are loud enough for small venues. Homeowners who want a piece that looks sleek in a living room setting will appreciate the black finish and chrome stand. It blends into modern decor without looking like a piece of studio gear. Who should skip it? If you're on a shoestring budget and your primary goal is just to learn basic chords, a less expensive 61-key model will cover the basics and save you a few $100s. Likewise, if you're looking for an all-in-one workstation with a massive library of synth patches, the KaP1's 28 voices feel a bit limiting compared to dedicated synthesizers that boast hundreds of presets. Finally, if you travel constantly and need something that fits into a backpack, the hammer action keys add weight and bulk that a lightweight synth-style keyboard would avoid. On the downside, the KaP1's built-in speaker system, while adequate for practice, doesn't fill a larger room with the richness you'd expect from a higher-end digital piano. I found myself turning up the volume and still having to place a small bookshelf speaker nearby for a full sound experience. There.